Hiking Winston Ridge. Parking is at Cloudburst Summit, which is 32.6 miles from Interstate 210 in La Cañada Flintridge. A moderate-sized parking area sits next to the trailhead near mile marker 57.10. The difficulty rating for the hike is moderate. The hike begins. On this day, the hike started out at 45 degrees and windy. Going up Winston Peak first. Although the hike starts right off the highway, this area gets rather light foot traffic. Also, previous and subsequent fire damage in the Angeles National Forest is continually altering the surroundings. Meanwhile, I stuck to an untrailed route toward the summit of Winston Peak. Finding a use trail more than halfway up. This put me on a direct track toward the top. Several rocky soldiers guarding the summit area. Aiming for the highest point. Approaching the summit. Ascending the summit boulders. On the summit of Winston Peak, elevation 7,502 feet. One peak down, 3 more to go. Starting the steep descent before ascending peak 6903. Glancing over to Winston Ridge, where I expect to visit later in the hike. Peak 6903 gets reached at the end of a steep drop, followed by a quick climb. Getting a good look at it on the way. Taking a side trail below peak 6903. This allowed for a more gradual climb to the top. Eventually, I just left the trail to go right up the side. Approaching the summit. On the summit of peak 6903. The summit 360. Looking back at Winston Peak. With peak number 2 in the bag, only 2 more to go. But first, I needed to cross the long summit before heading toward Winston Ridge. Next stop, Winston Ridge. Starting to head down to the gap between the high points. Reaching the gap and getting ready to head up the other side. Slow going up the use trail. Approaching the high point of Winston Ridge. Reaching the summit of Winston Ridge. Standing on top before checking the register. Elevation, 7,003 feet. The ridge, 360. Showing off the register. 1 more peak to go. We'll need to find it at the end of the ridge while continuing west. There it is. Peak 6850. Route finding out of the way. Now it is a straight climb. Approaching the summit. On the summit of Peak 6850. The summit 360. Summit view looking toward Pleasant View Ridge. Also a view looking at Peak 6306. I originally planned to add it, but after seeing the route, I decided otherwise. Another day, and another route for that mountain. Time to head back. 4 peaks were satisfying enough. Navigating past a steep drop. Adding a little excitement along the way. I returned to Winston Ridge along the way. Do I give myself credit for climbing it twice? Bypassing Peak 6903 and facing Winston Peak. Connecting with the PCT after skirting around the side of Peak 6903. This also bypasses Winston Peak. By covering different territory, This also adds some hiking variety. Unfortunately, recent burn damage has plagued Southern California forests. It was mostly flat walking on the PCT for about a half mile. Then it was time to leave the PCT. The trail crosses a road, but that was my chance to get on it to return to the parking area. Mission accomplished. Sometimes heading off on an unmaintained route is just what the hiking doctor ordered. This one even lets you take credit for 4 summits.